Mr. Frank Beckman, if you may. Thank you for joining us today. Frank Beckman is an entrepreneur and venture investor who works closely with founders to build sustainable, innovation-driven businesses. His work strengthens leadership and human-centered growth. Thank you for joining us today.
Yes, thank you very much for the invitation. We had great presentations today with very practical advice. My presentation now is a bit different. I do not share any slides, I share myself. I'm coming from a family business in the third generation of a small enterprise. I worked over 20 years as CFO, CEO in medium enterprises in Europe and Asia. I have deep experience in venture capital ecosystems all around the world, in Middle East, in Asia, US, and in Europe. And I'm also leadership coach on C-level and help executives in transformation and also in cross-culture growth. So I have a lot of experience, which I like to share. The topic is human-centered entrepreneurship, navigating the AI-driven economy. So good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me here today. And I want to share with you something more general, but not less important. I think it's even more important. I want to begin with a statement that might sound surprising. We are living in the greatest moment in human history to be an entrepreneur. Think about that. Never before has a small business in India had access to global markets like today. Never before has a single person with a laptop and a vision been able to reach millions of customers globally. Never before has technology amplified human potential like it does today. Yet you are not small, you are micro, small and medium enterprises, but the word small is actually a lie. Because you are the engine of this economy. You are the job creators. You are the innovators. You are the ones who will define the next decade of global trade. And now something extraordinary is happening. Artificial intelligence is emerging, not to replace us, as we had heard, but to multiply us, to free us from the past, to give us back our most precious resource, time to think, to create, and to connect. The question is not whether we will survive AI. The question is, how can we soar? So tonight, I want to take you on a journey. We are going to explore first 3 perspectives on entrepreneurship in the AI area. And the first 2, I think you have encountered already. Perspective 1 is the technologist. The technologist sees AI as the answer to everything. Automate, optimize, remove the human element. The technologist is excited by efficiency, by speed, and what machines can only do. And they are not wrong. AI is powerful. It can analyze markets, predict trends, write content, manage logistics, creating leads. It can do things that would take humans weeks in seconds. But here is what the technologist misses. Efficiency without wisdom is speed towards a cliff. And not speed does save you from the cliff. Only seeing the cliff saves you. Open your eyes and do not stay narrow-minded or even blind-sighted. Perspective 2 is the other part, the traditionalist. The traditionalist sees AI as a distraction. I build my business with relations, with hard work, with trust. I know my customers. I know my people. I do not need algorithms. And they are not wrong either. Human connection is irreplaceable. Trust cannot be automated. But here is what the traditionalist misses. The world is changing. Your competitors are adopting new tools. Your customers are expecting new experiences. Relationships do not protect you from disruption. Only adaptability protects you from disruption. Open your eyes and do not stay narrow-minded or even blindsided. So where and what is now the third perspective? The third perspective is the one that will define the winners of the new area. It is the perspective that says technology serves humans. Humans do not serve technology. It is the perspective that says AI handles the processing. Humans handles the perceiving. It is the perspective that says efficiency is not enough. Wisdom is required. This is what I call human-centered entrepreneurship in the AI age. It is the ability to see from multiple angles, to question assumptions, to recognize that the smartest people in the room are often the blindest because their expertise has narrowed their lens to a single automated view. It is the abilities to step back and ask, what am I not seeing? What is the angle nobody is considering? What would this look like from exact the opposite direction? This is not a soft skill. This is a competitive advantage. Because in a world where everybody has access to the same AI tools, the differentiator is not who has the best technology. The differentiator is who sees the most. You know, I've written a book about all of this. It is called Kaleidoscope Leadership, How Great Leaders Rotate Perspective. And I want to tell you why I choose that word kaleidoscope. When you were a child, or maybe with your own children now, you look through a kaleidoscope. You remember that? You look inside and you see this beautiful pattern, colors, shapes, symmetry. It is stunning, magic. And then you turn it just a little, and the whole picture changes, completely different, just as beautiful, just as real, but totally new. This is how I see leadership, human-centered leadership. And honestly, this is also how I see life. The situation is not different. The facts are the same, but your perspective, the angle from which you look, changes everything. In India, you have 6 classical schools called Shadarshana. So we could talk about multiple darshans for navigating the AI agents, or the Jaina principle of Anikantanavada, where no single perspective can be complete, and thus we need different standpoints. A great leader does not have one perspective. A great leader has many. They can see what their customer sees. They can see what their employee sees. They can see what their competitor sees and what their community needs. They turn the kaleidoscope. And the same is true for all of us. How open are you to seeing a different picture? How willing are you to turn your lens and discover something you have never seen before? This is not weakness, this is intelligence. This is the foundation of everything I write about in Kaleidoscope Leadership. But let me be honest with you. This is not just a book. It needs to become a movement. Because the ideas in the book about awareness, about perspective, about breaking the patterns that hold us back, these ideas are needed right now in the AI age, more than ever. We live in a world that is faster, louder, and more uncertain than any generation before us has ever experienced. AI is changing everything. Industries are changing overnight. The rules we learned no longer apply. In this world, the leaders who win are not the ones with the most information. They are the ones who can see clearly, who can stay calm, who can hold multiple perspectives at once and make decisions with awareness, not fear or pressure. That is the kaleidoscope leader. Why is this skill more important now than ever? Because we are entering the area of AI agents, not chatbots that answers questions, autonomous systems that take over entire processes. They will schedule your meetings, research your markets, analyze your competitors, draft your communication, and chain decisions together without you touching a single step. The promise is extraordinary, free up human time for higher level thinking. But here's the danger. When the process thinks for you, you stop thinking about the process. You do not know what data the agent used. You do not know what assumptions it made or what alternatives it dismissed. You just see the output, clean, confident, ready for your approval. That is the locked lens. Except now it's not just in your brain, it is in your whole system, automated, invisible, running with anyone watching. The answer is not to reject AI. That would be like rejecting electricity. The answer is to orchestrate it intelligently, to know exactly where the human lens need to intervene. Let me share something that will change how you think about AI. Imagine walking through a supermarket on a Saturday morning with no list, just an open mind and an empty fridge. You stroll through the aisles, you pick up a tomato, smell it, put it back, grab a better one. You pass the fish counter, something catches your eyes, fresh sea bass. You wander to the spices, cumin, no, lemon and thyme, you grab both. Then you spot a bottle of white wine on sale and the meal starts forming in your head. not from a recipe, but from ingredients you choose, combinations you imagine, a dish that did not exist 10 minutes ago. That is thinking, browsing, selecting, combining, creating something from raw inputs. The meal is yours. Nobody else would have made it exactly this way. Now picture another supermarket of the future. You only will find pre-cooked meals, ready-made dishes, vacuum sealed, ready in 3 minutes. The label tells you what's inside. You do not choose the ingredients. Somebody already did. You do not combine anything. It is already combined. You do not taste along the way. You taste at the end when it is too late to change anything. The meal is fine. It is even good. It is cheap. It goes fast. It is convenient. That is what AI is doing to your thinking. Google was the first supermarket. You typed in a question and got A's of ingredients, links, articles, data, opinions. You had to browse, evaluate, decide what was relevant. The thinking was yours. Google gave you the raw material. You cooked the meal. Large language models are the pre-cooked ale. You describe what you want. Give me a strategy for entering the European market, for instance, and a finished dish arrives. Coherent, well-structured, seasoned with data points and frameworks, faster than anything could have ever cooked yourself, and often good enough that you serve it without question. You did not choose the ingredients. You did not evaluate the alternatives. You did not stand at the counter weighting the option against that one. You consumed a perspective. You did not create one. And that distinction between consuming and creating is the difference between a leader and a follower. What does the kaleidoscope leader do here? An AI agent prepares the analysis, gathers the data, models the scenario, and presents its recommendation. And then, before anyone signs off, and Khushbu also has indicated that recommendation goes into a room with different departments, different personalities, different perspectives. Finance looked at it through their lens, marketing through theirs, operations, sales, engineering. Each one bring their own angle to what the agent produced. The kaleidoscope leadership system. The agent did the processing, and the humans do the perceiving. The agent delivered one angle. The room creates 5 additional, and the decision that comes out of that room is fundamentally different, richer, more robust, more human than anything the agent could have produced alone. This is not slowing things only down. This is making things smarter. And here is my invitation to you tonight. We are entering the most exciting era in human history. AI is giving us superpowers. It is handling the processing so we can focusing on what matters, receiving, creating, connecting. But the pre-cooked answers are getting better every day. The temptation to stop thinking for yourself is getting stronger. Somebody just told me yesterday that he sees AI like a drug from which we become dependent without asking. But I ask you, do not give in. Your business deserves more than pre-cooked answers. Your people deserves more than automation. Your future deserves a leader who can see what nobody else sees, which makes you unique, which gives you a competitive edge. That leader is you, and you already have everything you need. You have the experience, you have the instinct, you have the courage, you have life's wisdom. Now you need one more thing, the practice of turning the kaleidoscope. I want to leave you with something that has guided me over 25 years. I found it on a small website from a creative agency some 20 years ago. It's not existing anymore. But it captured everything I believe about what humans can do when we refuse to be ordinary. It goes like this. We are dreamers, doers, ambassadors and guides, artists and architects with one common aspiration, exceeding all expectations. This is who you are. Dreamers who do, guides who create, artists who build, all completely different lenses, creating unique results. So let us go ahead. Let us break patterns. Let us step out of the box, create something totally new that did not exist before you turned the kaleidoscope. Do not automate your own mind due to AI agents. Make a change, make an impact. Not someday, now. Stay human. Thank you very much.
What a lovely speech. Thank you so much. And I think the whole description of a pre-cooked meal is what resonates with all of us. I mean, particularly the whole concept of choosing your own ingredients. And I think a couple of thoughts that will, do stay with, that are bound to stay with everyone really, is about how humans don't serve technology and technology should serve humans, right? So you're talking, and also I think the line where you said, the process has started thinking for you and you stopped thinking about the process. And that's so real today, I think, for everybody. Even for a map, we've stopped thinking about where the right turn is. We just wait for something to tell us when to turn. But that's been, it's been very inspirational listening to you. Thank you so much for your time, Frank. If anyone has any